What's up, guys? We are back here in Archeworld, and let's talk about the biggest change of them all, pretty much. It is the housing system. The housing is the cornerstone of Archeworld. Every housing plot is actually predetermined now. So you'll notice that there's these little flag guys on the ground, and it's showing you if it's locked, unlocked, if someone's renting it. And when you click on it, it'll tell you the size and who owns it. So this is owned by XL Games. And on the Asian server, they sold 50% of the land as NFTs and then kept 50% of the land. But unfortunately, 50% of the land didn't sell out. So they only ended up actually selling about maybe 25% of the land. So it's going to end up being about a 75% land owned by XL Games and 25% land owned by the players. You can rent player land as well, and it's actually cheaper to rent player land. So you get a 50% discount if this was someone else's land. So if I own this, it would say my wallet account owns this, my crypto wallet. And then the price here would not be 720 blue salt to rent it. It would be 360. Eventually, you'll be able to set your own price because it's very, very important. If you notice that in any game like this that has real estate and land, the location of the land is almost as important as, you know, the size and anything else, and like what it looks like. Like certain locations are more desirable than other locations. So in the original version of ArcAge, you wanted to be close to the sea so you could stage your trade packs, or next to the trade pack vendor and so forth. So the same thing will probably shake out here, and you'll have different locations and different zones that are incredibly popular and going to be worth a lot more in the real estate market versus some other zones that are not. So it's interesting to see all of the little housing zones. You go around and check them, and you can see. You can also only rent one house from XL Games. So you can only own one land from XL Games. You can own as many land as you want personally or from other players. So if we take a look at my mini map here, we've actually tested this out, and we've rented 8 land plots, so 1 from XL Games and then 7 from other players to test out the system. And if the player owned land is not being utilized for 1 week, then that land becomes rentable to anyone without the player, doing anything about it. So this happened yesterday. Player land became available because 1 week of the server has passed. And so anyone that was not using their land, so this guy right here, so this is what I tell you, NFT owner, he was not using his land. So instead of it being a private land where it was only he could use it, it would now become public. And you can actually go ahead and rent it, and the tax price is 50. And hence we went ahead and rented this, because why not? Land is very, very important. You grow your crops here, and you're going to be doing your farming activities. You also put down beds, houses, and furniture. You can see no one is really decorated besides the standard houses. They've changed the housing system up a lot. So they've made an 8x8 tent, which is where you're going to start the game off. This is the most important thing in the world to get. You have to have a tent. So you need to get a 16x16 land plot. You're going to have to rent it from either another player, own it yourself, or rent it from XL Games. And then you're going to want to put down the house, build the house, which you get the building materials from the general merchant, and it costs 14 gold to build the tent. Once you build the tent, you need to put down a bed. This bed is where you get labor passively. So you click on the bed, and you'll be able to actually interact with it. Let's go to our house. And you can see it's glowing this gold aura. It means it's generating labor. So it has 2 hours and 59 minutes left before I can collect the labor from this and then redo it again. The next thing that you absolutely have to have, and why a house is critical, is you need an Archeum workbench. Archeum workbenches do the same thing as like a bed. They generate you Archeum. Archeum is the main currency that is used to upgrade your gears. When you are farming monsters out in the wild, you're going to be getting incomplete Archeum. And then you're going to be getting incomplete Archeum shards. You take these shards and these dust, you combine them together to make the shards, and then you take the shards and you put them at the Archeum workbench. So at a level 1 Archeum workbench, you can process 500 of these shards every 12 hours, and that becomes 500 Archium. This is very, very important, as you're going to need lots and lots of Archium. As you upgrade and level up your bed and your Archium machine, you'll be able to produce more Archium, but it's very, very expensive. It costs 50,000 Archium to upgrade your bed or your machine. A reason why you might want a larger house is because you can actually place more things in the larger house. So this is a house, but a 2-story house. So this is a more upgraded house, and you can see he's actually got 3 Archeum workbenches in here. Only 1 bed still, though. You can only place 1 bed down. But this guy has 3 Archeum workbenches. So that means he's actually generating 1,500 Archeum, every 12 hours if he's constantly managing his systems. How the housing system works is it goes from a tent, which is an 8x8. Then you have your next one, which is a house that is 16 by 16. But unfortunately, it does not actually fit on a 16 by 16 land plot anymore. So in order to put down a house, you have to have a land plot that is either a 16 by 24 or greater. And the house starts out like this. You have different designs. You can always redecorate and redesign it. And when you do this, the house will actually be able to put down 2 of those Archeum workbenches. If you want to improve your house, you'll make it a 2-story house. And as we just saw, you'll be able to have 3 Archeum workbenches. So the bigger your land, the bigger the materials that you can gather and earn from your workbenches. So you can see this land plot is huge right here. This guy's got tons and tons of crops. And let's take a look. So this is a large land plot, and the size is 24 by 32. Huge land plot. So you can see they got their house being built here, and then all their crops. Maybe wondering where to get the design. So unfortunately, you have to get the designs from the cash shop, from Excel Games. So not only do you need to have the land to build something on, but you need these blueprints. So this one right here, the tent, goes on the 16 by 16. This one right here, the house, it goes on the 16 by 24 land, the second land plot. This medium house goes on the 3rd land plot, the large one that we just showed you. This large house goes on the extra large land plot, and this manor goes on the mega land plot. The nice thing is that you buy these, but when you're done with it, you can go ahead and convert them back into the same amount that you paid. So you pay 300 blue salt tokens for these, but if you're done or you're leaving the game or you want to upgrade to a bigger house, you simply take this to the blue salt merchant in the community center, and he'll allow you to convert the design back to 300 blue salt. So you don't lose any of your blue salts by upgrading or changing houses or things like that. So you can always upgrade, and you really have to start the game out with a tent. The tent is the most cost efficient, and you're going to be able to progress fastest with a tent. Anyway, guys, that's it for land right now. If you have any questions about land, post it down below. I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I'll see you in game.